In question 13, Lara picks a number less than 20. So we have a number there, less than 20. Then the first thing she does, she divides it by 2. So let's divide this by 2. Then she adds 6. So once she's divided by 2, she adds 6. Now, the result she gets, she then divides by 3. So this here, she divides everything by 3. So I have to be careful though. So what I'll do is I'll put this blue bracket. That's my answer. And I'm going to divide it by 3. So I'm going to divide it by 3. And my answer is 4.5. Now what I need to do is go backwards. Undo all these operations to find out what this box is. So let's start with 4.5. And let's do the opposite, the inverse of divide by 3. The opposite of a divide is a times. So I'll do 4.5 times 3. So let me take this up here. And because it's only times by 3, I can do this simply. 4.5 plus 4.5 plus 4.5. So I'm going to add all these. And I have to be careful that I line them up. And with this decimal point, very important I don't lose that. So 5 add 5 is 10. Add another 5 is 15. So I put the 5 there. And I carry the 1 to the next column. So now I have 4, add 4, which is 8. Add another 4, which is 12. And add the 1 I've carried over, which is 13. So I put the 3 down and carry the 1 to the next column because I have nothing to do there. So I have now 13.5. So 4.5 times 3 is 13.5. So I've done this bit. Now I need to look at what else I need to do here in this bracket. So as I'm going backwards, Lara added 6. I need to do the opposite, the inverse. Let's write that word down, inverse. It simply means opposite for us. So the opposite of a plus 6 is take away 6. So I'll do 13.5 take away 6. So let me do that here. 13.5 take away 6. So I can do that up here. 13.5 take away 6. Now I have to be careful. I've got a decimal point there and a helper here. This makes it much easier to do the calculation without making silly mistakes. 5 take away 0 is 5. Very carefully bring the decimal point down. 3 take away 6. I can't do that. I've not got enough. So what I do is I go to my neighbour, borrow 1, so that becomes a 0. And the 1 I've borrowed turns the 3 into a 13. So now I have 13 take away 6, which is 7. So my answer is 7.5. So 13.5 take away 6 is 7.5. So we've done this bit. Now finally we've got to undo the divide by 2. The inverse or the opposite of a divide by 2 is a times by 2. So what I need to do is 7.5 times 2. So I'll do that up here. 7.5. And because it's only times by 2, I can simply add on another 7.5. I can make it easy like this. I'll be careful with the decimal point. I'll put that down now. 5 add 5 is 10. I put the 0 down and I carry the 1 over to the next column. 7 add 7 is 14. Add the 1 that I've carried is 15. So I put the 5 down and I carry the 1 over to the next column. So now I have 15.0, and that is the same as 15. So 7.5 times 2 is 15. So I know Lara started off with the number 15. In question 14, we're given a set of numbers and we're asked to work out the number of seconds in an hour. That just means 1. So we know that we have 60 seconds in 1 minute. And we have 60 minutes in 1 hour. So our calculation is 60 times 60. So let's use that grid method here. 60 times 60. Now these zeros I can ignore. I can hide them for now. I can do 6 times 6. And that is 36. So let me check that. 6, 12, 18, 24, and 30. And then it's 36. So how many 6s have I got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's fine. 6 times 6 is 36. Now, what I need to do is bring this 0 and this 0 down here. So my answer now is 1, 2, 3, comma. These are our thousands. So it's 3,600. So we know this 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. Now we need to work out the number of minutes in 1 day. And we said that there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. And there are 24 hours in 1 day. So our calculation now will be 60 times 24. Now I'll do that up here in the standard column multiplication. 60 times 24. You can put these either way, it doesn't make any difference. So I do 4 times 0, which is 0. And then I do 4 times 6, which is 24. So I put the 4 down and I put the 2 in the next column because there's nothing to do. So it's 240. Now because I'm moving on to the next column, I put a helper 0, a placeholder. So I do 2 times 0, which is 0. And then I do 2 times 6, which is 12. So I put the 2 down and I carry the 1 over to the next column because that's the end of my calculation. So now I simply add these two. 0 add 0. 4 add 0, 2, add 2, and then I have nothing there, add 1, and it's simply 1. As before, 1, 2, 3, comma. These are my thousands, so this is in my head, 1,000. So I've got 1,440. So I know I have 1,440 minutes in a day. Now what I want to do is this calculation using the grid method, because some people find that easier. So I'm going to write 60 down here. I'm going to write 24 here, but I'm going to split that up into 20 and 4. So I'm going to ignore these 2 zeros. I'm going to do 6 times 2, which is 12. Now I bring these 2 zeros back. That's a little trick. To make the calculation easier, what I do is I do 60 times 20. And I ignore these. So this is all going on in my head. So I now have 6 times 2. And I know 6 times 2 is 12. Then I bring these 2 back. So I've got 1,200. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 60 times 4. As before, I can hide the 0. So I can do the calculation 6 times 4. And 6 times 4 is 24. And now I bring this 0 back. Now, all I simply need to do is add these 2 numbers. And I'll do it in column addition. Very carefully, lay them out. 240. So I have to put that in the right place. I'm now going to add them. And there we are. So it's 0, add 0, which is 0. 0, add 4, which is 4. 2, add 2, which is 4. And finally, 1, add nothing, there is simply 1. And as before, 1, 2, 3, comma. So this here is my thousands. So it's 1,440.